Chapter 2. Cole. Criminal investigator Cole Davenport sighed as he looked around the most recent crime scene. To say it was a mess would be putting it mildly. Papers were scattered everywhere. Drawers had been pulled out of desks and overturned. Shredded pillows lay like flayed corpses, leaving a trail of stuffing around the room. And of course, the body reposed in the middle of the mayhem, face down with a massive wound to the head. Is the head wound the cause of death? Wendy, the forensic technician, looked up at him and nodded. It would appear so. Her gloved fingers examined the wound through the dark hair. I would say blunt force trauma with a pointed object. She touched the skin of the body and moved one of the poor man's arms. Based on rigor mortis and algor mortis, I would say he's been dead 8 to 10 hours. Cole nodded. 8 to 10 hours would put the death in the middle of the night. At least that would explain the man still being in pajamas. Odd, though. If he'd been sleeping, why attack with an object? Why not use a gun or smother him with one of the pillows? There were certainly enough of those around. Perhaps the man had woken to some noise. Is there any sign of a struggle? If he'd woken before he was hit, surely he would have fought his attacker. Wendy studied one hand and then the other before shaking her head. I don't see anything that would lead me to make that determination, but we could scrape his nails to be sure. Please do. Cole bit the inside of his lip and studied the victim again. Something seemed off, but he was having trouble placing what it was. Was he killed on the bed? Wendy pushed up her glasses with the back of her hand and looked around the room. I doubt it. There's no spray in this room. Yes, that was it. There was no splatter on the walls. If the man had been hit in the head, there would be a spray of blood. Right. Cole scanned the room, noticing a door open at the back of the bedroom that he hadn't paid attention to before. He had assumed at first it was a closet, but now he saw that the closet was to his left. Nor was it a bathroom, because that was in the hallway of this small one-bedroom house. So why was there another door? Careful to step around the mess to avoid contaminating any evidence, he made his way slowly to the open door. Stopping at the entrance, he pulled on his gloves and stepped inside. The room was small. Perhaps it had been the closet at one time? Or had it been added after the fact? Whatever it was clearly the place the attack had happened. Red droplets coated the wall like a sick, abstract piece of art. So why move the body? A shelf that had apparently functioned as a desk spanned one wall. It was devoid of anything now, but something told him it had once housed equipment of some kind. He ran his gloved hand across the surface and then held it closer to his face. What was that? Rice? A piece of grain? Removing a bag from his pocket, he dropped the speck inside to analyze later. Maybe the man ate in this room? But why? It certainly wasn't a cheery space. A solitary bulb hung from the ceiling, casting a dim, eerie light on the room. Underneath the shelf, he found a small fridge and a 2-drawer file cabinet. Both were empty, but something inside him told him they hadn't been at one time. What had been the purpose of this room? It seemed too dark for an office. Some sort of research? But why keep it hidden? What exactly had he stumbled into? Cole removed his gloves and ran a hand across the back of his neck as he stepped out of the macabre room. When you get done processing the body, can we process this room as well? Wendy looked up at him with an annoyed expression. I'll do the whole room, sir. Of course she would. She was one of the best technicians in the department. Thorough to a T. Thank you. There wasn't much more he could do here. He would have to wait for the evidence to come in and see where it led him.